It's now every Sunday evening is a very sacred moment, at least for us here in Newsline. It's time to reset, recharge, and of course, rediscover the beauty in life's little joys. A very good evening and welcome to Newsline tonight. I am Claire Adilabu Abdurasak, your pilot. And whenever I come on set, of course, I carry with me the hope of leaving you with something that touches your heart and probably will also spark inspiration for you for the week ahead. So tonight, as I dawn in this very rich, timeless, black and white teeth tradition, it's a subtle tribute, to the beauty of our cultural diversity. And so we will bring you a blend of very rich stories, some of them inspiring, some entertaining, and others that remind us of life's challenges, and of course, the urgent call for our collective action. We'll also share with you the emotions of weddings and families paying heartfelt tributes to loved ones who have passed into eternal glory. And at this point, our hearts and our condolences to the families and all those who lost their lives in the tanker explosion in Niger State. So in case you missed the headlines, the news making the headlines, my co-pilot, Ogochukwu Ona, is already seated to bring us highlights of the news. Hello, Ogo.
Hello, Claire. Good evening and welcome to the news segment. The federal government has ordered the immediate relocation of the victims of the petrol tanker explosion from the Suleja General Hospital to other tertiary medical institutions where they can receive better care. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, who led federal government's delegation to sympathize with the victims and their families, disclosed that President Tinubu directed the immediate constitution of a high-powered investigation committee to ascertain the remote and immediate causes of petrol tanker explosions in the country. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
From September 2024 till date, Nigeria has reported records of 4 petrol tanker accidents that have claimed more than 265 lives. The latest one at Diko Junction in Niger State that has reawakened the consciousness of the authority with a view to finding an end to this avoidable accident so far claimed more than 80 lives, including this one, before the very eyes of the federal government delegation.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is deeply saddened by what has happened, and he has asked us to come here to see the situation in the hospital especially. We have just gone around the wards and we've seen those that are very critically injured, and as we are even visiting here, one of them sadly passed on just now. And we are told that this is the 8th victim of this fire explosion that has just passed. And what we are seeing here is the dire need of an emergency, a more emergency situation which the federal government is taking. The Honorable Minister of Health, NEMA, and all agencies of government that are involved will ensure that all these victims are immediately evacuated and taken to intensive care units of the immediately available tertiary hospitals here.
Intensive engagement among stakeholders from the public and private sector that is underway with a view to ascertain the remote and immediate causes of accident involving petrol tankers might be what is required for future safety of lives and property.
All critical stakeholders are going to meet to find a lasting solution to this. It's an unacceptable situation where people, Nigerians, fellow Nigerians, will continue to lose their lives as a result of this people trying to scoop fuel because a fuel tanker has fallen. Of course, all the recommendations will be put together and be forwarded to Mr. President so that a final stop will be put into this. But like I said, the President is greatly saddened by this, and he has directed that everything possible should be done.
The delegation, which includes the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Nentawe Yilwatda, and heads of agencies under the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, including the Director General of NTA, Saliu Abdul Hamid Dembos, visited the palace of the Emir of Suleja, Muhammad Awal Ibrahim, from Diko Junction in Niger State. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
And similarly, President Bola Tinubu has expressed deep sorrow over the fuel tanker explosion, which caused the death of over 80 people, with many also injured. President Tinubu mourns the victims and expresses his condolences to the families affected, as well as to the governments and people of Niger State. The president directed the provision of comprehensive medical care to the injured and instructed security and road safety authorities to implement measures to avert similar incidents. President Tinubu strongly advises all citizens to exercise caution and avoid approaching accident sites, especially those involving fuel-laden vehicles, due to their highly explosive nature. Additionally, the president has mandated the National Orientation Agency to initiate a nationwide educational campaign. This campaign will raise public awareness about the severe risks and environmental dangers of scooping fuel from fallen tankers. And Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, has also expressed sadness over the news of the fuel tanker explosion which occurred in Niger State, killing several people and leaving many injured. In her condolence message to the Niger State Governor, Muhammad Umar Bago, the families of the victims, the injured, and the entire people of the state, the First Lady urges everyone to be cautious by avoiding scenes of accidents, especially those involving vehicles conveying inflammable substances due to the high risks involved. She prays that Almighty God grants the governor and those affected by the incident the fortitude to bear the painful loss, while praying for speedy recovery to the injured. And in the same vein, the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, commiserates with the government and the people of Niger over the Diko tanker explosion. The national chairman of APC described the incident as a heartbreaking tragedy that has caused immense pain to families and communities across Niger State. Ganduje appealed to relevant authorities for all necessary support to be extended to the victims and their families, and to take proactive measures to prevent a recurrence of such tragic incidents in the future. Former President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed his heartfelt condolences on the loss of lives in a fire following another petroleum tanker accident that occurred on Saturday at Diko Junction along the Abuja-Kaduna Highway in Gurara local government area of Niger State. Expressing disappointment that the practice of scooping fuel is becoming more common in spite of warnings from the authorities and the devastating loss of lives which characteristics attend such incidents. In condoling with the government and the people of Niger State, the former president wishes speedy recovery to those injured. And to other matters now, the attention of the presidency has been drawn to some fake news on social media about an arbitration proceeding in Paris to which the Nigerian government is a party. Her statement clarifies that the private proceeding, which should not have been reported in the media, is entirely confidential until the international arbitrators decide. While respecting the confidentiality of the proceeding, the government wishes to state categorically that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has not forced anyone to testify for or to refrain from testifying against Nigeria. All the eminent Nigerians involved in Nigeria's defense are doing so willingly and out of sheer patriotism and conviction. President Tinubu and the entire country are grateful to them. The statement adds. The federal government announces the country's acceptance to the invitation to join BRICS as a partner country. A statement by the acting spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kimiebi Ebienfa, says the partnership will help align Nigeria's aspirations for inclusive growth and regional integration in line with the best practices of strategic autonomy. By leveraging this partnership, Nigeria will further advance its shared goals in areas such as trade and investment, energy security, infrastructure development, technology, and climate change. The ministry points out that the formal acceptance to join the BRICS as a collective of major emerging economies presents a unique platform that highlights Nigeria's commitment to fostering international collaboration, leveraging economic opportunities, enhancing trade, investment, and socio-economic cooperation with member countries. Vice President Kashim Shettima departs Abuja for Davos, Switzerland, to represent Nigeria at the 2025 annual meeting of the World Economic Forum. The Vice President will join world leaders, top business executives, and development partners to discuss the state of the world economy. Among events slated for the Vice President include a workshop entitled Roadmap to Co-Create Investment Opportunities for Africa's Frontier Markets, organized by the African Development Bank in collaboration with the World Economic Forum to boost the flow of capital into Africa and scale up solutions that will build a prosperous, inclusive, and resilient continent. Top on the agenda will be an announcement of the Humanitarian and Resilience Investing HRI Roadmap for Africa in partnership with the African Development Bank and foster partnerships between public and private sector leaders interested in mobilizing investment in Africa's frontier markets, among others. The World Bank is sustaining intervention in improving access to primary health care centers in Nasarawa State with community mobilization for rural dwellers. Aliyu Tijani reports that the World Bank and the state government have subsequently adopted strategies that will encourage rural population to patronize healthcare facilities in their domains.
Distance of every 5 kilometers in Nasarawa State. Record shows there is a primary healthcare center, bringing the total number of the facilities to 780. With interventions from the World Bank through the Immunization Plus and Malaria Progress by accelerating coverage and transforming service, Impact Project, which is upgrading and equipping primary healthcare centers in the state. The patronage of these facilities by rural dwellers, stakeholders say, is low.
The quality of healthcare delivery is top-notch. So we want our people to know that when they go to facilities, they will find drugs available, they will find health workers available.
To change the narrative and reduce mortality, stakeholders converge and commit to mobilize the rural population to access primary healthcare centers.
One of the important work of Impact is that revitalization of primary healthcare. This is in synergy with federal government and the state government, but at least it will come to much benefit to the local government and impact to the state in general.
Local governments, traditional rulers and opinion leaders all pledge to mobilize rural dwellers and ensure attitudinal change towards primary healthcare centers for a healthier and productive population. Aliyu Tijani, NTA News.
Governor Umar Namadi has commissioned 50 units of one-bedroom apartments with school in Juma at Mosque at Malam Maduri local government area of Jigawa State. The project, executed in collaboration with the Qatar Charity Foundation, will be distributed to widows, orphans, and other vulnerable people from nearby communities. Muhammad Musa Askira reports.
This project is initiated and executed by the Jigawa State Government in collaboration with Qatar Charity Foundation to ameliorate the hardship widows, orphans, and other less privileged in the society pass through in life. The 50 units of one-bedroom apartments with a school and a community mosque is designed to make life easy for the beneficiaries. Governor Umar Namadi reaffirmed his determination to ensuring the provision of decent housing estates for the teeming populace in the state, while appreciating the support of Qatar Charity Foundation.
The state government will take the further appropriate action to provide complementary services to ensure that social and economic life of the people in all surrounding communities are improved sustainably.
We'll extend this project in another empty land for another 50 houses in 2024, inshallah, and we'll add big borehole to serve all these houses, all our widows and orphans in this area, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet says, those who cares for orphans and myself will be in the paradise like this. So may Allah reward you for what you have done to us.
I urge the beneficiaries of this project to make good use of it and take care of it, as it is now yours.
These houses and the school are provided for the beneficiaries free of charge. From Duty, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
An attempt by a 26-year-old nursing female student at an India university to swallow 76 wraps of cocaine hours before her return flight to the South Asian country through the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport in Kano was thwarted by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. Sawa Khalil Ibrahim reports that illicit consignments heading to Borno, Kano and Abuja were nabbed during the week under review.
The suspect was scheduled to return to Delhi, India, from Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, but was arrested in her hotel room in Kano at 11:30 p.m. on Thursday, 16th January 2025. Her lid was blown open when NDLEA operatives on patrol along Okene-Lokoja Highway in Kogi State arrested her partner in crime en route Kano with 76 pallets of cocaine, which she was going to deliver to her in Kano. In other operations along the Okene-Lokoja Abuja Highway, NDLEA officers arrested 4 suspects who were heading to Maiduguri in a commuter vehicle with over 38,000 pills of tramadol concealed in audio speaker and cloth. In Lagos, operatives of NDLEA on Tuesday, 14th January, raided the hideout of a 59-year-old man, where they recovered 10 parcels of Canadian loud. 2 suspects were arrested on Saturday, 18 January, when NDLEA officers raided their home, where 28 kilograms of Canadian loud were recovered following credible intelligence. In Kano, 2 suspects were arrested at Dawakin Tofa local government area, where a total of 7.6 kilograms conks, 78 tubes of rubber solution, and 356 bottles of soak and dye, a new psychoactive substance, were recovered from them. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
The long-awaited ceasefire in the Israel-Gaza war is now in place as first hostages have been released and received in Israel. U.S. gets set to inaugurate Donald Trump as the country's 45th president. Kolo Mohammed brings us details on these and other stories on Global Update.
In the southern city of Khan Yunis celebrated, and armed men paraded through the crowds on the back of cars as the ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war came into effect. Families expecting the release of family members held in prisons wait in earnest to welcome family members they have not seen for close to 20 years. 8 trucks and ambulance cars wait at the Egyptian side of the Rafah crossing, poised to enter from Egypt as soon as they get the all clear to drive desperately needed aid into Gaza. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump departs from West Palm Beach ahead of pre-inaugural events in Washington, D.C. He arrived at Dulles International Airport. Donald and Melania Trump with the family watched fireworks display from the Trump National Golf Club in Sterling, Virginia, ahead of his inauguration on January 20th. Supporters and invited guests to inauguration expressed disappointment over a change of plans as weather conditions are likely to move the inaugural grand event indoors, limiting the number of attendees and size of the event. Kola Muhammad, NTA News.
Donald Trump there getting set to be inaugurated as the 47th President of the United States. All right, sports is next with Bade. Bade, you're on.
All right, let's get to it. Let's begin from home. As Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike says his administration will continue to reward outstanding FCT athletes at national and international competitions. He gave this assurance at the 13th edition of the FCT Sports Award Night for FCT athletes and officials to the Delta State 2022 National Sports Festival and the 6th and 7th editions of the National Youth Games in Delta State in 2022 and 2023. The minister rewarded gold medalists from the Delta State 2022 Sports Festival with 600,000 naira, silver medalist got 400,000 naira, and bronze medalist got 250,000 naira. The Youth Games gold medalist received 400,000 naira, silver medalist 300,000 naira, and bronze medalist 200,000 naira each. Wike, who was represented at the ceremony by the Mandate Secretary, Social Development Secretariat, Ibrahim Aminu, reaffirmed his commitment to rewarding excellence and hard work, just as he promised to improve on the rewards at the next awards.
I believe that this honor will not go in vain. God will surely see you and bless you in his own way.
We'd like to thank all the athletes for their incredible performance, dedication and sportsmanship, for every commitment to the game.
Needs to be highly commended for this wonderful initiative, at least for motivating and encouraging the athletes that won laurels in the past. You can see the excitement, the joy, among the athletes, and to ginger them to perform more.
It is really of joy that the Honourable Minister of the FCT has done a great job by mandating the SDS department, the Director of Sports, for organizing this great event, which was very, very, very colorful and beautiful, and the athletes were rewarded handsomely.
Moving away from Nigeria, Nigeria's only surviving representatives on the continent, Enyimba Football Club of Aba, have crashed out of the CAF Confederation Cup after losing 3-1 away to Zamalek of Egypt in their last Group D encounter. Zamalek, who had already booked a place in the quarterfinals, only needed 21 minutes to open scoring, and their efforts were doubled in the 50th minute before following Enyimba's goalkeeper Anis Howler. However, there was a consolation in the 57th minute as Enyimba striker Hieme Kwele found the net, but it was Zamalek who had the last laugh as they claimed all the points available with a 3-1 victory. And to the English Premier League now, where the resurgent Manchester City have moved to the top 4 of the English Premier League after a 6-0 thrashing of Ipswich Town. Phil Foden seems to have reinvented his current form with a brace, while goals from Kovacic, Haaland, Doku and McCarthy ensured that the citizens gathered momentum in the title race. Manchester United put up yet another disappointing performance at Old Trafford after falling to Brighton 3-1. At Goodison Park, Everton ran out 3-2 winners against Tottenham to give David Moyes his first win in his second spell at the club. Elsewhere, Nigeria's Olaino put up a man of the match performance to deny Southampton an equalizer as Forest held on to a 3-2 victory, with another Super Eagles star, Paul Onuachu, scoring his first Premier League goal for Southampton. And let's quickly talk tennis now, as Novak Djokovic continued his search for a 25th Grand Slam title with a 6-3, 6-4, 6-7 victory over Czech 24th seed Jiri Lejeka. The Serb will now face Carlos Alcaraz in the mouth-watering quarterfinal clash in Melbourne. Meanwhile, Coco Gauff fought from a set down to beat Belinda Bencic and join defending champion Aryna Sabalenka in the last 8 of the Australian Open. Gulf was not at her best, but outlasted Switzerland's Benzich 5-7, 6-2, 6-1 to set up a quarter-final clash with 11th seed Paula Badosa. And that's our beat on sports. Let's now return to Ogo. And of course, Claire, the sports-loving Claire. Just a confirmation for you. The name of the new coach of the Super Eagles, we talked about it last week. He said it should be pronounced Eric Charlie. So,
okay, thank you. That's good, Eric Charlie. So we now know he is Eric Charlie. I thought you would have asked me about Enyimba's performance. I mean, it was expected. We talked about it last week, and then we expressed, apprehension about what will happen. But my issue is that Zamalek has, continued to defeat our team at this level. If you recall, again, it was Zamalek that sent off Rangers, some years back, and at the same group level. But just a little 4-1 against 3-1. Well, we wish Zamalek the best of luck. And Enyimba, better luck next time. And I know Ogo is just watching.
You win some, you lose some.
Exactly.
That's the spirit, right?
Exactly. But we want to win all the time.
You want us to be winning all the time.
The North Africans, they just know how to, to play continental football in Africa.
Mm. All right, thank you, Bade, for giving us updates in sports. And next is a quick look at the weather prospects for Monday.
You're welcome. Over the next 24 hours, we expect to see an influx of moisture into the country, which is expected to extend as far as the central cities. This moisture, coupled with other indices, are expected to bring morning thunderstorms to parts of Akwa Ibom, Cross River, and rivers. Weather coverage is expected by afternoon over the coast and extending into parts of Imo, Enugu, Ebonyi, Ondo, and Ogun. Though with reduced intensity over the inland cities, there's a slight chance of showers over parts of the FCT, Nasarawa, Kogi, and Benue. Meanwhile, the northern region is expected to remain mostly sunny with some haziness. We anticipate a slight increase in temperatures. And that's our weather update. Thank you for watching.
Indicates our first break in the news tonight. Newsline will be back. Please stay tuned.
All right, welcome back. Now, for all those who know me, you know I'm always proud of my Nigerian heritage. Here's why. Now, the virtue of resilience, of course, runs very deep in every Nigerian. Despite facing adversity, we continue to thrive. But what truly fuels this remarkable strength, wisdom, and courage? Well, in our very first report, Oneme Okadigbo took her cameras and microphones to the streets of Awka in Anambra State, and here is what she was able to uncover, the secret behind our unwavering resilience.
Many believe Nigerians' traits to overcome challenges might be seen as inborn, as they find ways to thrive even in the toughest conditions, where other nationals will resort to suicide or take drastic measures. A Nigerian remains resilient.
We have this natural shock absorber in us that can absorb any stress, any shock, whether it is from government or from the environment or from nature, whatsoever it is. And that is what makes us unique as a people. Nigerians are very unique people, I must tell you.
We agree that we are resilient people, people who move on despite the odd, people who don't see this thing has affected the individual, and this is how it is, and it is, life goes on.
Some Nigerians said resourcefulness, doggedness, and adaptability are hallmarks of Nigerians' resilience. From technology startup to entrepreneurship, Nigerians turn challenges to opportunities.
Nigerians are very strong people, which many countries know. There's a saying that says, in any country in this world you go to and you don't see a Nigerian, just run away.
Though they advocate for brotherhood, despite the present economic challenges, as Nigerians are gradually losing their core values in assisting one another.
Anyhow, we will survive. That is the popular slogan in Nigeria. Anyhow, we will survive. And this is how it has been carrying on for some time.
When you hear the name Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned, I hear strength, I say determination. As blacks that we are, I see Nigerians as people that survive under any circumstances, any condition. Wherever you go to, all over the world, around the country, and you see people striving no matter the challenges, look deeply, look closely, and you see they are Nigerians.
Nigerians' resilience inspires hope and optimism, demonstrating the nation's potential for growth and prosperity.
Absolutely. The Nigerian spirit speaks of resilience and courage. Now, there's a curious and unusual saying in Hausa culture. A merchant's fortune is secured when his wife gives birth to a donkey. Well, that might sound bizarre, but it underscores just how indispensable the donkey is in trade and commerce. Despite its historical and economic significance, this hard-working beast of burden is now on the brink of extinction, unfortunately. So tonight on Newsline, Aminu Umar takes us on a journey through time to explore the vital role of the donkey and the challenges it faces in our world today.
Kano, as a city of merchants and merchandise, is preoccupied by markets that attract businesses from all over Nigeria, West, North, and Central Africa, which dated back to trans-Saharan trade. The major means of transporting goods then were the camels and donkeys that were used to bring goods to the Kurmi market, the first largest avenue for commercial transactions hundreds of years ago.
In this market, there was a park particularly for donkeys that was provided by late Emir Alhaji.
The donkey, known for its strength and resilience, has been a vital companion to many farmers and traders in Kano. With their population dwindling, the animals, although still relevant in the city, as a means of conveying sands to areas where vehicles could not have access to. They are now mostly visible at the mining sites of the suburban areas of Kano.
Donkey means a lot for us as it helps us settle our bills.
It costs about 400,000 now.
It is observed that most of the donkeys found in the city and suburbs are males, which may affect their reproduction as none of the users bother to have a mix of females for reproduction.
We appeal to government to restrain people from selling them. I once had a female that produced one for me.
In rural areas also, the female donkeys are only found among the nomads as part of their herds and for transportation. As a step towards conserving the donkey species, the Nigeria Customs Service recently intercepted some consignments of donkey skins and reproductive organs that were attempted to be smuggled out of the country. As the number of donkeys continue to dwindle at an alarming rate, data from conservationists indicate that donkey is facing significant threats, including habitat loss, climate change, hunting, and disproportionate sale for meat and skin harvest. The reduction in the number of donkeys in Kano and other parts of northern Nigeria, conservationists say, would have severe consequences for the local economy and ecosystem. and this called for stringent measures from government and conservationists to protect the animal that plays a vital role in supporting the rural agro-economy.
Well, that story is just a testament of the importance of the female gender in all situations. Let's go to Kano. And they say a hungry man is not free. But what about children, malnourished and robbed of a healthy future? Now in Kano, nearly 56% of children under 5 years old are stunted, their growth and potential shattered by hunger. And amidst this heartbreaking reality unfolds in the bustling city of Kano, the state government and stakeholders are, however, taking steps to reverse the trend. And Fatima Sanusi Karai takes us deeper into this unfolding story.
Malnutrition remains one of Nigeria's silent health crises, casting a long shadow over the lives of children and women. In Kano State, the statistics are alarming. 7 out of 10 children suffer from anemia, a condition that stunts their growth and development. Among women of reproductive age, 4 in 10 are affected, putting their health and that of their children at significant risk. Behind these numbers are real stories, stories of loss and survival. Aisha Isa was one such story. At just 21 years old, she died while giving birth due to complications that might have been prevented with timely intervention. Her baby barely survived. Yet, in the same Kano hospitals where lives are lost, there are also stories of hope. This 2-year-old was on the brink of death, battling severe malnutrition and anemia. His frail body seemed to have little chance of survival. But unlike Aisha, Musa received timely care, therapeutic feeding, and life-saving micronutrient supplements. Hospitals and health centers across Kano are scaling up critical interventions, including the distribution of free micronutrient supplements, fortified foods, and therapeutic feeding programs.
Honestly, when I brought this boy, he was almost dying. But we thank God, after some time, after they've given us this therapeutic feeding, he is now okay.
We thank God for this medicine that they are giving our children. The time I brought this girl, she couldn't even stand. But thank God now she can even walk.
During a one-day policy dialogue on the uptake of multiple micronutrient supplements, Commissioner for Planning and Budget reaffirmed the government's commitment to tackling nutrition.
Kano State government is very much willing to support whatever will add value to our people. In terms of counterfeit, we will key it into our budget to make sure that what is expected of us, we do it.
His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, approved the release of 637 million 440 something. I can't call the figures now, it's not in my head mentally, but it's above 637 million for the procurement of what? Of ready-to-use therapeutic food, that is RUTF.
No, it has been approved, but want the state government to release that same fund so as to cater to prevent anemia from thriving in the state, especially with our mothers and children, women of reproductive age generally.
Aisha's story is a sobering reminder of the devastating cost of inaction, but Musa's survival is a beacon of hope. It underscores the power of partnerships, the impact of timely care, and the need for sustained commitment to fight malnutrition.
Thank you, Fatima. Now, success deserves celebration, and sacrifice demands recognition. For those who dedicate their lives to protecting ours, both are not just important, they are very essential. And our gallant men and women in the Nigerian army face extraordinary challenges daily, standing as a shield for our nation. Yet even in the midst of their duty, moments like Wasa 2024 reminds us that they too need to recharge their spirits. So, why is it so vital to celebrate them, you may ask? John Yaku, in this report, takes us into the heart of the festivities and their deeper meaning.
These are some of the experiences of the military personnel on battlefields. It is not just about war, as it is often said that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So, after a fierce battle with bandits, kidnappers and terrorists in 2024, it is important to take time out to relax and forget some of the nasty experiences during combat. This may be one of the reasons behind the annual West African social activities organized by the Nigerian Army across the country. At the 2024 event in Lokoja, taking time to watch Nigerian rich cultural dances from north to the south and from east to the west may not only encourage personnel to appreciate other cultures in Nigeria, but we also soothe the pains and wounds sustained on the battlegrounds. This little saxophonist is also here to entertain in her own way. The event featured tug-of-war competition as the Nigerian Army Band entertained. Different Nigerian dishes were on display at the event as awards were equally presented to deserving Army personnel and guests to encourage and appreciate them.
Let us take the opportunity to celebrate not only our diversity, but also the many ways in which we are united as a nation.
Indeed, our fighting men and women deserve not just to be recognized, but also to be celebrated. You're watching Newsline on the network service of the NTA. Let's take our first commercial break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Newsline. If you've just tuned in, it's on the network service. Now they say, spare the rod and spoil the child. But what happens when the rod is wielded too harshly and the child becomes a victim of violence? For a 3-year-old boy in Lagos, a classroom meant for learning and growth turned into a place of fear and trauma. In a shocking attempt to get him to read, his teacher's actions crossed the line, sparking outrage on social media and widespread condemnation from the public as suspected. Thankfully, help came in time and the boy survived the ordeal. But what really happened, and why has this incident struck such a chord with so many? Musa Toliat brings us the full story.
An anonymous candid camera captured moment when learning process for 3-year-old Abayomi Michael turned violent.
Right 6 for me.
The need to break the culture of silence paved the way for the video on assault to find its way to the Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency, and the perpetrator was apprehended. Lagos State Police Command ensured that perpetrator, 45-year-old teacher Stella Mwadigbo, booked a date with the court of law.
The woman in question is already in correctional custodies, while the case is coming up sometimes in February. The boy in question was taken to hospital and has received medical attention, while he has been reunited with his parents.
One of the Safe School initiatives by the Lagos State government is the directive for schools to establish a guidance and counseling unit and a dedicated safeguarding and child protection officer. How does the school, in the eyes of the storm, key into the directive? When Newsline visited the school located at the outskirts of Ishawu in Ikorodu, learning activities have been suspended and the school is under lock.
I support whatever justice wants to be served. I support it. But please, let's also realize that the bigger picture, we are dealing with humans. Who knows? That woman could be frustrated. That's not an excuse, but who knows how she's feeling. So someone should please see the bigger picture. then the school should be saved, because it's not just the proprietor of the school. You see other kids as well. They have, their education too is important.
However, child rights advocates want the government to reinforce machinery that will prevent a recurrence.
We must be interested in preventive advocacy. And how do we prevent? We prevent by insisting on global standards. What is the meaning of care? Care is to anticipate the needs of children, to make adequate preparation, to meet those needs and mitigate those threats well before they arise. That is the meaning of care.
There is also a school of thought that believes conditions of service in schools for teachers should be given priority to avoid needless transfer of aggression on learners.
Sometimes we look at the reaction, which is what she has done. You're seeing an outlet of something going on within. And then, of course, nobody will want to see him 3-year-old being abused or manhandled. There's a lot of things to look at. Instead of, I go away from making a judgment to say, oh, yes, the main judgment here is, this is not acceptable. This is not okay. Because that child is 3-year-old. It is really to take the opportunity to educate the public, then the school community on what is acceptable by the state, then by what is the environment of the school, that and what kind of caliber of teachers are we bringing in. And then it goes back again to mental health issues. Teachers to build mental health.
For now, the erring teacher is remanded in Kirikiri Correctional Facility till February 18, 2025, when the case comes up for continuation of hearing.
The role of a teacher truly demands patience. They must understand when to teach with love and guidance, and also when not to cross the line with a rod or even a hand. Now, sometimes life reminds us that greatness isn't confined to the walls of a classroom, and of course that it is not limited by lack of formal education. Now, Abdulrahim Oladimeji's story is a powerful testament to this truth. Imagine a man with no formal education, yet his name shines in Nigeria's education sector. A man whose vision and determination gave birth to Al-Hikmah University in Ilorin, Kwara State. It's a private institution that's shaping the future of countless young Nigerians. Khadija Takombi takes us into the world of this extraordinary man in Kwara State.
Haji Abdulrahim Amo Oladimeji were five, the Ashwaji of Igbomina land, Baba of Ofa Kingdom, Arogundade of Lagos, and founder and chairman board of trustees Al-Hikmah University, lost his parents before the age of 7. He had to fend for himself from the age of 10 and worked as an apprentice for several years before he ventured into private business. By dint of hard work, dedication, and perseverance, the octogenarian had a breakthrough in his business from 1967 during the Civil War and later rose to become the owner of a chain of business enterprises with national and international recognition. As a forward-looking entrepreneur, his initial plan was to set up a factory at the site of the Ilorin campus of the university, but on the advice of his children, he decided to establish Al-Hikmah University, which started as an Islamic foundation awarding diploma certificates in affiliation with educational institutions within and outside the country until the year 2005, when it succeeded in obtaining a license to operate as a university. The university, which started with 70 students 20 years ago, has graduated over 15,000 students in various disciplines and has spread across the country and in the diaspora.
The first convocation, I have only 70 students. But we have managed with all the help of Almighty Allah. We give us, we are trying, Akaji tried. Today I have 5 VC in the Al-Hikmah today. And then I thank Almighty Allah, I have over 13,000 students today.
Baba gives, and he has been doing it for years. And that is why our university currently has a number of programs which are highly subsidized, courtesy of that philanthropism.
The Speaker, House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, the Governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, and the former Governor of Katsina State, Aminu Bello Masari at a recent event to mark the 20th anniversary and 14th convocation of Al-Hikmah University showered encomiums on the founder, who is contributing significantly to the nation's education sector despite his background.
He has contributed significantly not only to the development of education, but also to the development of Islam, particularly in Nigeria.
For somebody who never had the benefit of any education in any four walls of any school, either primary, tertiary, not talk of higher education, to come out with an idea that he wanted to establish a university is quite commendable.
To his family members and students of Al-Hikmah, he is a wonderful father, husband, and mentor.
He has given us a lot of opportunities in life, in terms of education, in terms of support, moral support, spiritual guidance.
He's a very wonderful person. He's not only a husband to me, he's a father. I got married to Baba when I had my HND. But Baba do say something to me that, no, you have to go back to school. To the glory of God, I'm currently a PhD student.
For the past few years that I've been into school, I can say that it is really nice. The school upbringing and everything, the way they make us practice Islamic teachings and all.
Al-Hikmah University has helped me a lot in my faith. Now I pray always.
The self-made octogenarian, who is also a great philanthropist, has touched many lives through his numerous donations to institutions of learning, communities, as well as Islamic and Christian bodies. He has bagged numerous awards and titles. According to him, he will continue to contribute to the development of humanity as long as he lives, imploring the federal and state government to support the private universities across the country in view of their contributions to the development of the nation's education sector.
Indeed, Al-Hikmah University, located in the heart of Bakata in Ilorin. But what does Alhaji Oladimeji's story teach us? That success isn't defined by formal education, but by the vision, drive, and courage to turn our dreams into reality. No one tells a story better than oneself, and today it's the story of our own, of one of our very own, Anwar Yusuf Jibo of the NTA Lagos Network Center and son of late Yusuf Jibo. Now, Anwar began a beautiful new chapter of his life, which unfolded with his radiant bride, Atika Sama Mohammed. Now, the couple exchanged marital vows in the presence of family and friends in Abuja, but a particularly nostalgic touch was the presence of Usman Magawata, a man with a gentle mien, Anwar's guardian and mentor, and the visionary behind NTA News 24. Now, as a former Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, his gentle demeanor and legacy added an extra layer of experience for the couple. Ibrahim Tan Hamidu was there for Newsline.
The union of Awal Yusuf Jibo and Atika Samhar Muhammad brought together the families of the late Malam Yusuf Jibo and Alhaji Muhammad Musa Abu Bakr, strengthening their bonds of kinship and friendship. Chief Imam Ahmed Makari officiated the wedding, following the payment of 200,000 naira as dowry. The ceremony, attended by dignitaries, media personalities, and NTA officials, showcased the power of love, family, and community.
When relationships are started, they should be on good footing, because it is the beginning, you don't know the end.
This is the kind of day that every parent would wish to see. Having given birth to a child, and she grows up to the level that she is due to be given out in marriage, and Allah has granted us this singular honor
Friends of the groom rejoiced as Awal Yusuf Jibo found his perfect match.
Awal Yusuf Jibo has been a childhood friend. I have known him since our JSS1 in Nigerian military school. We only give special thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
I've been friends with Awal for the past 30 years. Went to the same primary school, went to the same secondary school, then we parted ways. But he always used to be the neighborhood friend of mine while growing up. A very go-to guy when it comes to friendship. He's one of the people that you would always think of going to.
He's not just a friend, he's a brother to me. Our families are family friends. Awal is someone in our days, back in our days in secondary school, we used to call him an adventurer. He's the go-to person, he's the one that motivates us. He has a lot of confidence.
Today is a beautiful day. I wish Awal the best and I pray that God bless his marriage. Alhamdulillah.
I honestly don't have the words to put how I feel, but it's just overwhelming and extremely grateful.
As Awal and Atika exchanged vows, they honored their heritage while embarking on a new journey together.
Congratulations to one of our own, the new couple. You're watching Newsline. We'll return presently. Now, it's often said that when you peel back the layers and expose the truth, the ugliness beneath can be overwhelming. Our next report from Boso community brings this harsh reality to light. As we look at the heartbreaking abuse of minors that continue to haunt the lives of innocent children. Now, it's a very dark reminder of the darkness that lingers when we fail to protect our most vulnerable. Mukhtar Wowo has this report from Boso community in Niger State.
14-year-old rape victim is a primary 6 pupil in Kontagora local government area of Niger State. The rape case commenced de novo before Senior Magistrate Court 5 in Tunga, Mina. The prosecution told the court that the complainant, who reported the matter in October 2014, narrated how the defendant, Uche Wanko, lured his 14-year-old daughter and had carnal knowledge of her, resulting in pregnancy. The prosecution further informed the court that during the police investigation, the primary 6 female pupil identified the defendant, Uche Wanko, as the person who impregnated her. The defendant pleaded not guilty to the 2-count charge of unlawful sexual intercourse with a child and impregnating a pupil. The prosecution prayed for a date to enable them to comply with Section 178 of the Niger State Administration of Criminal Justice Law and serve the defendant's counsel with the case details and exhibits. The prosecution also objected to the bail earlier granted to the defendant.
We learned that they were trying to settle. That was the reason why he was given bail, because the magistrate was not properly briefed on the offences. And we said no. This is against the government.
Senior Magistrate Hadiza Imam ruled in favor of the prosecution and revoked the earlier bail granted to the defendant. Considering the nature of the offences, court ordered that the defendant be remanded in the correctional center and adjourned the case to February 22, 2025. In another case of defilement involving a 10-year-old girl on El Wazir Street in the Boso local government area of the state, the victim's mother, who was seen roaming around the court premises awaiting the trial of the suspect and her daughter, narrated to the NTA Newsline that her 10-year-old daughter was defiled while on an errand to the suspect's wife in December 14, 2024, but she was not at home while the suspect took advantage of her absence and dragged the victim into the room and forcefully defiled her. The victim's mother cried out for justice 16 days after the 26-year-old suspect was yet to be arraigned in court.
When I reported the incident to the police, the perpetrator admitted committing the crime. However, I am now under pressure from his relatives to withdraw the case.
Meanwhile, a press statement issued by the Niger State Police Command confirmed the incident, saying when checked, bruises were observed on the victim's private part, on that the suspect threatened to kill his victim if she revealed the incident to any person. In the statement, the spokespersons of the Niger State Police Command, SP Wasiu Abiodun, disclosed that the suspect confessed to committing the crime and has been transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department for further investigation on diligent prosecution. As at the time of filing this report, the suspect was yet to be arraigned before any court in the state. Can this be a demonstration of the popular saying that justice delayed is justice denied?
Certainly not. Justice shall be served. Now, somewhere else in Karushi, in Karu local government area of Nasarawa State, another 32-year-old suspect, Timi Ajayi, who allegedly murdered his girlfriend, Salome Adaidu, has been arrested. And our correspondent, Bilkisu Umar Gruku, has more on this story.
The suspect, who was paraded by the police command in Lafia, confessed to the killing of Lady Salome Adaidu, a graduate of Kogi State University, who was until her untimely death a core member serving in Abuja and in a relationship with the suspect who claimed to be a gospel singer. The suspect, while confessing to the alleged crime, showed no remorse, claiming he killed her for alleged infidelity in their relationship.
It's not something I really planned on. Something that it happened on that day, and it happened. It's not like I had a plan in mind. Most of the chat with the other guys was what I saw on the phone.
The police public relations officer, Ramham Nelson, says the suspect will be charged to court after necessary investigation on the matter is concluded.
The suspect is in custody. The Commissioner of Police has ordered the transfer of the case to State Criminal Investigation Department in Lafia for further investigation. And he has assured the family that justice will be served.
Hopefully we're watching and trust Newsline will be on that story. You're watching Newsline. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this break. Thanks for staying with us. Now, living to the age of 105 is no small feat, especially in a society where the average life expectancy for women is just 56. Now, truly, it's a remarkable testimony to the grace of God. Now, the Iroko family of Onitsha in Anambra State recently bid farewell to their beloved matriarch, Enyi Nwugo and Iroko, in a grand funeral ceremony attended by friends and family from across the globe. Now, it was not surprising to witness the joyous celebration that followed her burial, and it's a reflection of the life she lived and the legacy she left behind. Franklin Onyekachi reports that the centenarian was fondly remembered by mourners as a woman of generosity, peace, and deep faith in God.
The street of Osuma in Onitsha came alive with the lying in state of late Enyi Nwawolaru, Nwugo and Eroku as individuals and different groups, including the prestigious Otuodu Society of Onitsha, Catholic Women Organization, and other women groups paid their last respects to the deceased at her country home. Amen. The body was received at St. Mary's Catholic Church, Oka Road, Onitsha, for the Requiem Mass. In a sermon, the priest, Reverend Father Patrick Okafor, admonished Christians to leave behind good legacies through touching lives positively, adding that though Enyi Anne Eroku lost her husband early in life, she remained resolute in her Christian faith and commitment towards humanity. Mass over, the remains of Mama Eroku were interred in her compound as the dust-to-dust ritual was performed. Family members say they have lost a jewel of inestimable value.
She was one of the most peaceful women you can ever get. So peaceful. I've never seen her quarrel with anybody.
Very generous, very gracious, very supportive of everybody, and she did everything she did quietly without anybody knowing.
She's very benevolent. She gives even when she doesn't have.
A wonderful woman. I don't call her mother-in-law. I call her mother. She took me like a daughter.
Dignitaries who came from far and near were sumptuously fed as they urged the family to take solace in the good life their matriarch lived.
May God Almighty, who called our dear mother home, at the ripe age, grant her eternal rest in His kingdom.
This is celebration of life. We are here to enjoy and to send Mama home peacefully in a grand way.
It's a merriment. It's something that we are all happy that people can live like that and die.
Different groups, families, and individuals came on condolence visits to the Eroku family. Late Enyiwa Walaru Eroku died at the age of 105 and is survived by 3 children, 9 grandchildren, 15 great-grandchildren, many foster children, and other relations.
Wow. Wow, 105 years. Now, that's a remarkable testament of not just the grace, but the glory of God. I want to thank you specially for welcoming us into your home tonight, and I don't take this privilege for granted. Once again, a heartfelt thank you to our contributing stations and the entire dedicated Newsline crew. Now, the faces you don't always see, but whose hard work behind the scenes makes it all possible. I may be the one you see on screen, but it's actually these unsung heroes who deserve the credit for bringing the magic to life. And I say thank you, all of you behind the scene. And of course to you, our loyal viewer, you are the heartbeat that keeps us going. The reason we continue to strive for excellence, and your support means the whole world to us. So as we face the week ahead, let me remind you of the words of Albert Einstein and Franklin Roosevelt. May they resonate with you. And it says, in the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity. The only limit is doubt. And until next week, Sunday, let's keep hope alive, keep anticipating brighter days ahead. I am Claire Adelabu Abdulrazak. Good night, everyone.